Alright guys, I haven't made a new video because I'm sorting out some gear stuff still. I think I have a lot of it sorted out. I found my old guitar cable, which was supposed to be a really good high quality gold plated yada yada. Was terrible, and it was like shorting out, so it was creating a lot of noise. So brand new nice clean cable, no sound. What else did I do? Move the camera around a little bit so you can see things better. It's not aimed like down at the floor. And if you're thinking my carpet's dirty, this is the edge of my desk right here, and these are screw holes. This is a kind of a crappy desk I built myself. So these are screws, not big splotches of dirt. Carpet's down here, this area. Although this little circle here, underneath that barbell thing, that's from an old charcoal air filter thing. It stained the carpet permanently, so it's old crappy carpet anyway. So the thing I was changing, I can't remember what all I changed, but I've recorded I think 3 different other videos along the same lines of the first one, where basically I'm recording, you know, a song from scratch and trying to figure out as I go. I had a couple that were just terrible, so that was about 3 or 4 hours of just junk I didn't like, so I ended up deleting it. I have a new song that's, let's see, somewhere about 2 or 3 minutes worth of music. Somewhere in the middle there, for some reason, I had this itch to get something different for a preamp, because I've been getting irritated with the old, well, if you've seen, I don't know if you can see this, but Pod XT, Pod HD, and I have one of the older original pods, and there's some gripes about them, just like everything else, but I was looking for something new that wasn't super duper expensive, and I found this isn't really brand new, but it's a Line 6 Helix, and I got the rack mount version, and a nice rack thing. You can't really see it, I may show it here sometime, but it's a desktop rack mount thing with some nice patch board. I was able to put up my old Line 6 rack mount. It's basically like the Pod HD, it's just the concert live production model. It does exactly the same thing as the little desktop model. And then some older amps and stuff like that. So hopefully I got this thing sorted out. It sounds a little better, looks a little better. If you see me looking over that way, that's where I'm recording, over there. So I'm just looking to make sure it looks decent. But yeah, hopefully it sounds better, looks better, stuff like that. So not really much to show off here. I got this one a while ago. It's one of the Chapman, what's his face? The Rob guy. Anyway, 6-string thing. This is my new favorite toy. So anyway, with the Helix, some of the built-in sound effects are okay, but they don't really fit what I'm trying to do. So I'm roughly trying to get the sounds I had on the old Pod HD. They changed a bunch of the legacy stuff, or they made it legacy, so it's like the way it's structured and some of the profiles and attributes are different. So I'm trying to sort it out, but that's what this video is kind of about, to kind of show you what I'm working on. So I'm trying to take my time, because I want to set this up like so it sounds how I want, and I'm happy with it, and I don't have to change it for a while, because I'm more interested in writing, like just writing stuff. I don't want to fiddle with making all these new amp models and changing sound effects and stuff. I used to do that a long time ago, where I'd, you know, every song could have a different sound effect or different drum kits even. Especially Fragging Fanatical, that one had a lot of different drum kits. I don't know why I did it that way. Like a weird industrial thing where it would change between sections. So anyway, yeah, basically I'm trying to do a rhythm, you know, a metal rhythm, a metal lead, so the usual lots of delay and, you know, other stuff like that. a clean channel that sort of mimics the old one I was using that had that long echoey sound to it, and then a bass sound. So here's what I have so far. I'm sort of happy with it, but I still have some to go. So this would be the rhythm, the new rhythm sound. I'm sort of okay with it for now. But so it has sort of what everybody's calling gent stuff. So it's just punchy. It's similar to my old rhythm. It has a little bit of echo on the end, so it doesn't sound super dry. Like proper gent would have really dry. So whenever you do that punch, there'd be nothing on the tail end of it. This one I'm still sorting out the tail end with some like noise gate, stuff like that. So you'll hear on the end there's a little hiss. And some of this is being picked up by my mic, so pardon that. I don't have a good way to stop that. But, so I'm pretty happy with this overall, but I need to record some stuff to see how it sounds in stereo and with the drums and everything like that. Like some of that hiss, like there should be a few milliseconds of echo just to make it taper off like really quickly, but it doesn't sound super duper dry. But obviously drums will cover that up. No one will really hear it because I don't do anything that's like that punchy. So that's the rhythm. Pretty happy with that. The lead is a bit different. So if you saw the other video on the pod, basically the rhythm and the lead were identical, and I just toggled on and off a delay, like a ping pong echoey delay, and that's it. This one I went with something completely different. So the rhythm is kind of dry, a little bit scooped, so the middles, you know, there's not as much mid. And then for the lead, it's a lot more punchy, so it should stand out more. And this one, the only thing I did different, so I'm using a separate complete profile for the lead. So it's a little more punchy. So again, comparing it to the rhythm. So that's the rhythm, the lead. And again, the idea is that like it has a little more mid, it's a different cab, like cabinet, amp model, speaker layout, stuff like that for all the effects modeling. So it should punch through without me needing to like crank up the volume, stuff like that. So I still got to do mix on this to make sure it's not too loud, so I don't have to fiddle with it. But the only thing I have on here that I can toggle on and off, because I still want some variances for the lead, would be some, I think I did chorus. Yeah, so it's some kind of chorus. So by default, this is what it sounds like, the normal metal lead stuff. So I put two, I think they're choruses, flanges, and or phasers, something like that. So I have one that goes on the inside, so it's on the very front of the line of effects. So if you picture like an old-fashioned like foot pedal layout, so the chorus, this one would be way on the start, so my instrument would go into the chorus and then all the effects after it. And then I have a second one that's a bit stronger that goes on the outside of it, so on the very tail end, so it's flanging the entire array instead of just the source guitar. So I'll play, so this is what is like now, just like plain. And this would be the one on the inside, on the very front of the line. So it has kind of a phaser sound. So if I turn that one off, and I turn on the stronger one that's on the very tail end that does everything, it's like it's a lot stronger. So this one I would probably use for some of the, I don't know what it's called, but basically where something like that. I may have to tone it down because that's like super strong. Like the effect is, the mix is probably too much. But I think it could sound cool, but for me to use it like frequently wouldn't sound right. You'd be like, yeah, it's so strong, this would be something I could use for one song, and then if you heard it again, you'd be like, that's like too specialized. I need something that's a little more subtle. I think it sounds cool, but so that's the lead. So basically I've got like 3 different modulations of it, I guess. The next basic thing I use would be just a clean channel. So So you notice this has that same long tapered out that the other one had. Let's see, what do they call that one? Not that one. Particle verb. So this is something I've only seen on line 6. There may be a pedal for it, but pedal verb kind of makes your notes sound like a MIDI violin in a big cave. It's hard to explain, but it just goes on forever. But I like it because it fills it out. Like, I don't like the noise that your fingers make when they slide over the strings, because your fingers, if you press them hard enough on the wrapped strings, they'll embed and get the pattern of the string, the wrap on it, in your fingers, so it makes it, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I don't like that sound. Like, it's real bad on like a 6-string acoustic guitar that has acoustic strings. The first, or the biggest 4 strings are wrapped, and I hate that sound. But that kind of helps cover that up, because you can just smooths it out, and it makes it sound a lot more full, and I don't know, I like it. But yeah, so it has the particle verb effect, and then a really heavy echo, cave echo, or reverb. So this one, I think this one's done a bit better, like compared to the old effect that's on the old pod, which you probably saw in the other video, because I used that some there too. But this one I used as a template, one of the kind of twangy acoustics, so it sounds better noodling. Stop making noise. So I'm able to pick harder, and it doesn't pop as much. The other one had problems where, like, that first note would like be super duper loud just because of the way the effects was set up. This one doesn't do that. So this one I'm pretty happy with, but I need to test it with a full mix too to make sure it sounds right. It might be too bright, so like, I don't know. other stuff I was trying. I don't know if this will sound good on here, but thing I was toying with was the bass, which, you know, this is the 6-string guitar, but I think you get the point with that. It's supposed to be a cleaner bass. I need to fiddle with this a bit more to see if I want to put more distortion on it, because it's pretty clean, but I'll have to test it in the mix to see if I want a little bit of distortion to make it punch through and kind of support the low end for the guitars, since it'll be centered and not really stereo. But so anyway, yeah, Helix thing is awesome. It's not super cheap, but it's way cheaper than like Axe Effects and stuff like that. And I record sort of old school, I suppose, because my software is super old. So I still have to use like everything in preamps. I can't really run stuff like record the dry guitar and then apply effects afterwards. I'm just not used to that style of recording, so I have to use this old software. So I have to get it right the first time on the actual preamp. So anyway, all that being said, more to come. I'm still trying to polish this up before I continue with some other like new songs and stuff, but the song I have so far, which was done on the old Pod HD, I'm liking the sound of the Helix, so I'm probably going to re-record that with a fresh video and do it a little better. So hopefully that works. But yeah, once I get this stuff set up, hopefully you guys will like it better. The other thing, I don't remember if I showed you this or not. I don't think I had this in, but you may notice this little red keypad here. So this goes over to the recording software. I'm using OBS. Just Google OBS video recording software. So if you remember, I wanted to do like a picture-in-picture. So the bottom corner around here. So I figured out a way I could do that here. So basically you can see whenever I'm clicking and dragging and highlighting like that, or like drilling into a track so you can view stuff, you can see it there like in a mini track. Or I can flip it and make myself tiny and make the recording software full screen like that. So if I'm flipping around between views where I'm recording something and you want to see like all the tracks, I can do it there, and you should still be able to see like all the stuff I'm actually playing. So I tried to put it where you could still see me play the full neck and then the other stuff. And if I'm doing mix downs or something, I may not spend a lot of time on that, but at least I could show you what I'm doing. This was it's kind of a mess because I was testing different tracks and some sound effects from the Helix to figure out what works and what doesn't work. But yeah, I think this is pretty cool. Hopefully it looks alright, but yeah, that's about it. So that's all for now. So I'll try and record something before too long, maybe another week or so of me fiddling around, and then I'll get back to doing stuff and doing these kind of videos. I think these are pretty fun. So yeah, that's all. Bye.